right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and today we are officially exactly 1 week out from the 2025 Mr. Olympia Finals. And I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. And the first story that I've got for you guys today, yet again, I think the most impressive update of the day going into the Olympia goes to Nick Walker again. Two updates that we got from Nick Walker today, a most muscular and a side chest, where he just looks absolutely freaky. And I feel like we're just not getting these type of updates from the other top guys. Samson Dauda, Hadi Choopan, Derek Lunsford. We're seeing them train. We're seeing them do, maybe a couple poses in the gym. Nick is really the only one of these guys that we're talking about for consideration of, a top 4 or 5 spot that has posted like a legit update, not just in a tank top at 1 week out. And maybe we will as we get closer to the show, or maybe we won't see these type of updates from the other guys like Derek, like Hadi, like Samson. But so far, of all these guys, the updates that we're getting from Nick, I think are the most impressive and the freakiest updates. And this is what I've always liked about Nick, and I think this is one of the reasons why Nick is a fan favorite. I think the other obvious reason is that Nick is a freak and he's a mass monster, and there's a lot of people that like that in open. But I think the other reason is that Nick has always been like this. Nick does not really seem to shy away or hide from the fans. Nick is clearly confident in how he's looking, and he's not going to shy away from that. He posts it, he shows it to the fans. He says, look, I look like a freak right now. Here you go. I feel like he does a good job of driving excitement to the show, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why his absence over the last 2 Olympias was felt so heavily, is A, because he probably would have done some damage at the actual show, but building into the show, I think Nick is a big part of the excitement for a show like the Olympia. Nick is the guy that's dropping all the updates. Nick is the guy that looks like a freak going into the show. Nick is the guy that really kind of spurs on the conversation of, could Nick win? And I think we're starting to get to the point now where I don't even think if you predict Nick Walker to be top 3, I don't even think that's a bold or crazy or reckless prediction. I think Nick has been looking so good that I think that's a totally reasonable prediction. So my question for you guys in the comments below is twofold. Number 1, where do you have Nick placing at the Olympia? And number 2, if you have Nick in your top 3, who of those 3 guys do you see Nick pushing out of the top 3 that have been there the last, 3 years now? Derek, Hadi, or Samson? If Nick cracks the top 3, one of them has to go. Which one goes if Nick joins the top 3 again this year? And I guess I kind of have a third question for you guys, too. Does anybody have Nick Walker winning the 2025 Mr. Olympia? Now, next up in the news, we did get something of an update here from Derek, a training video. Like I said, these other guys are kind of just posting training videos where you can see a little bit of their physique. You're not really seeing physique updates from Derek, Samson, Hadi. Maybe a couple poses here and there. And to Derek's credit, I think Derek looks more impressive here than some of the other updates that we had seen from Derek recently. He looks a little bigger. He looks a little fuller. And honestly, I just absolutely cannot wait to see what happens at the Olympia this year. I think the build-up for this Olympia has been so exciting. It's been something that we haven't had in a long time. I can't remember what the last Olympia would have been where you had the reigning Mr. Olympia get beaten outside of the Olympia. And that's what we're talking about with Derek. I do think that as of the Arnold, winning the Arnold right after that show, I think Derek became the new favorite. And think about how much has changed since then. So I'm sure right after the 2024 Olympia, going into this year's Olympia, when Samson won, he was the favorite to win this year, I think, until the Arnold. Then Derek won the Arnold, and I think he became the favorite to win this year until the Pittsburgh show. Then when Nick beat Derek at prejudging of Pittsburgh and almost beat Nick at the show, I think then Derek's favorability as the potential champ this year, I think, waned a little bit and maybe shifted towards Nick or maybe back to Samson. But then you also think about a guy like Hadi Choopan, who beat Derek at the Olympia last year. So where does that put him in terms of favorites? Because if Samson lost his favorability by losing to Derek at the Arnold, then where does that put Hadi, since Hadi beat Derek at the Olympia? I think this is one of those Olympias where nobody knows who's going to win this thing. It could literally be any of these guys. But I just think the most exciting rivalry going into this whole show is Nick versus Derek. And I think one of the things that makes it so exciting is the Pittsburgh show. But the other thing, too, is like every time Nick posts an update, he's like breaking the internet. The whole bodybuilding world talks about any update that Nick posts. And it's not necessarily the case for Derek, even though Derek beat Nick the last time they went head-to-head. And even like engagement-wise, the update that Nick posted 2 hours ago already has more likes than the post that Derek posted almost a full day ago, and Derek's was a reel. It was a video, which typically get more. So I think you can make a really strong case for Nick as the wild card here. But another wild card, and at least one person thinks this guy can win the Olympia, that's Milo Sarcev, posting a recent physique update now of Behrouz Tabani now that he's here in the States. And Behrouz looks absolutely crazy. And I think, the thing about Behrouz is not only has he proven himself to be an incredible bodybuilder, to win crazy shows with crazy lineups, qualify for the Olympia year after year, but he's proven that against some of the best bodybuilders in the world at those shows. But I think the thing that makes Behrouz so interesting here is that he's never stood next to these guys on stage like Nick, Samson, Derek, Hadi. He's tested himself against several top 10 guys and came out on top, but he's never faced or had the chance to face that like upper top 5 echelon. So I think that's the thing that's so intriguing about him. When you see these updates where he looks crazy, when you look past at his past shows, it really does feel like he could stand with those top 5, top 6 guys and look good and place well. I mean, I'm still thinking Behrouz in that 5 or 6 place range, but anything can happen. It is bodybuilding. People can come in off, and I think the chance is very slim, but Behrouz could win. And I see people comment about Behrouz's legs a lot, and I think he's brought up his legs quite a bit since they were a weak point. And I just think about the fact that if his legs were that big of a weak point, he wouldn't have beaten Neckzilla, who has like the biggest, craziest legs in the world, every single time that he's faced Neckzilla on stage. So his legs can't be that small. So Behrouz, to me, is a really fascinating wild card here because he's already proven he can beat guys routinely that have bigger and better legs than he does if he's in better shape. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, we did get a glimpse of Hadi on his story just minutes ago. Now, we don't know when these are from. I'm assuming they're recent. They're very close shots. You can't see his full physique, but he's showing off his midsection, particularly his serratus, his obliques, the trademark Hadi midsection poses that really show off what kind of shape and detail Hadi is capable of bringing. And this is why I say it's interesting to think about where does Hadi land in this conversation of who's the favorite to win. Because Nick has the freak factor, but Hadi has this consistency with his condition and his detail. That's what makes Hadi so dangerous. And even though we haven't seen him compete in 2025, Hadi is that guy that you just know he's not going to be off. When have we seen Hadi not in shape? We've seen him slightly better or slightly worse, but even a slightly worse Hadi is peeled to the bone. And that's just what makes him so dangerous. If any of these guys miss the mark, whether it's Derek, Nick, Samson, you know that Hadi's probably not going to. Which is exactly what happened at last year's Olympia. That's why Hadi ended up in second and Derek ended up in third from being the defending champ. Derek was off and Hadi caught him. Hadi didn't win the title, but Derek was off and Hadi beat him. That's what makes Hadi so dangerous. If Samson is off, Hadi's going to beat him. If Derek is off, Hadi's going to beat him. That's like something, that's really the only thing we can probably count on, is that Hadi really doesn't ever miss. And I think that's going to make it even doubly impressive with the adversity that Hadi faced even getting his visa and getting to the States and being stuck in Dubai. If he still comes in crazy peeled, which if this update is recent, it looks like he's going to, I think it makes it all the more impressive that he can face all these challenges, the travel, getting delayed, getting stuck, not knowing if he's going to come, still prepping anyway, even though he didn't know if he was going to get the visa or not. If he shows up in incredible shape again, it's just a testament to what kind of bodybuilder Hadi is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Based on the updates that you saw in this video, who do you guys have winning the 2025 Mr. Olympia? Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. Alright guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.